We are falling in love in chocolate in all its texture, temperature, and consistency, okay? And so we love chocolate in hard version like a chocolate bar. We love the melty chocolate in Gianduja and spread, but we love also the hot chocolate drinkable like an Italian hot chocolate. But of course, during the summer, we love the gelato chocolate.
This is Italian for Sure, the podcast about Italian culture. I'm your host, Catrin Skaperdas, an American living in Italy, and I interview Italians who passionately share their wisdom, stories, and insights about Italian culture. Welcome to Italian for Sure, GB. Thank you for being on with us today.
My pleasure. Welcome to Venchi Factory.
Thank you for having us. So, could you start by introducing yourself a little bit and tell us who you are and what part of Italy are you from?
Yes, I'm GB Mantelli. GB is an Giovanni Battista, so it's an Italian name, but my nickname is GB. I have also an alias that is Mr. Venchi. And I'm in charge of R&D, the creativity, and all the recipe of the factory. I was born in chocolate. I swim in chocolate. And we are in the Piedmont area that is close to the French border, close to the Ligurian Sea, in a beautiful area embraced from Maritime Alps and closer to one of the most incredible hazelnuts comes within 30 kilometers from here.
Amazing. So you mentioned that we were at the Venchi factory. Could you talk a little bit about Venchi in general to maybe explain what is Venchi and also a little bit more about the factory itself and what comes out of this factory?
Yes, Venchi is one of the most historical brand worldwide because the foundation year is 1878. It's the history of cocoa and hazelnuts because we are close to this important plantation during the Napoleonic War. We have rare cocoa and we need to source other ingredient and the chocolatier created and crafted the Gianduja chocolate. So we are born in a Mediterranean climate and become during the 19th century one of the most important chocolate boutique in Italy and then in Europe. It's amazing because the history that is much more stronger for Europe in chocolate, born from Piedmont because we have the monarchy and the Savoy royal family that was really gorgeous. You say gorgeous about chocolate, okay? And they ask many recipe, and so we have the Madama Reale that is Giovanna of Nemur. Then in 1585 give the first license to crafted chocolate. And we have also Maria Catalina that marries the Duke Emanuele Filiberto, and he bring the secret of Spanish chocolate in Piedmont. So there's a lot of history. And Venchi grow with this history to bring his Italianness concept and created a sort of franchising during the war and offer to 1,000 people, so 100 family, to manage a Venchi boutique, chocolate boutique in Italy. So it was really an incredible history that then comes with an important maître chocolatier. It was my grandpa, Pietro Cussino. Then he created some special recipe for the Venchi boutique, and he became the maître chocolatier of this important chain of shop. Then in 1997, we brought the company with some friends and shareholder, and we relaunched the Venchi brand in 2001. So this is our history. our history in which we stay focused on our Italianness, and we stay focused on all the respect of our authenticity, our allegria, that is really difficult to translate in English because it's something like joyful, happiness, energy. So I mix. It's like a chocolate recipe, okay? And the balance comes from our Mediterranean diet.
GB, what an incredible history. And you mentioned so many things that I want to ask you questions about. I'm sure Kenneth does as well. Take us back to the beginning. I mean, you told me an incredible story. I'm hoping that you're comfortable resharing about when you were 15 and how you had started to already work with chocolate with your grandfather, and you made a mistake with the recipe, but then that recipe ended up becoming award-winning. Can you take us back to the beginning when you were young and creating chocolate, and maybe share that story?
That is a crazy story, I know, because it's after a long Italian party in that weekend, and I'm used to spend my holidays to work with my grandpa in a factory, and that days, I don't know why, I put an ingredient more in the chocolate recipe, because when I was 15, I don't really like the extra bitter chocolate, and you know, in 1980, the chocolate was much more roasted than now, and also the fermentation is not really controlled like now, and so I don't really like that extra bitter taste, and so I put an ingredient that I think it was really good because remind me to this taste, childish memory of Italian hot chocolate. But when my grandpa comes, they said, "Oh no, what are you doing? No, you're crazy. No, you put an ingredient. This is 300 kilos of extra dark chocolate. No, and now we had to waste. No, come on, Grandpa, wait." After 1 month, he called me and thought, "Oh, you are lucky guys. You know, chocolate is not so bad." So I invented this concept of quarti cacao, 75%. And then I created in 2004 this chocoviar, that is this incredible microsphere, sounds like a caviar, that is in a metal box like the caviar. And so it's funny to use also in kitchen. And this is a special chocolate I show you. Like
Wow.
this. Okay. Kenneth, you want to try it?
Yes.
Okay. And this is 75% of chocolate. And I won a special prize as a European innovation during an important exhibition. And then 2 years ago, I created my first important recipe of my history, that is the Cubotto Chocaviar, that is today is our bestseller.
And for those that are just listening on audio, Kenneth and I were just handed caviar that's chocolate. I can't describe it other than that. It was incredible.
And fun to eat. It's
Yes.
like perfect at melting.
Come on, guys, it's also vegan. It's so trendy now in this moment because it's just chocolate.
Listen, I can become a vegan if it means I just have to eat chocolate all of the time.
But you know, vegan is a concept of a Mediterranean diet. Why? Because we live in a warm peninsula. So we don't really need more and more calories from the chocolate. And so in Italy, we are used to use the oil come from olive oil, from the dried fruit like Piemontese hazelnuts, the almonds from Sicily, the pistachios, to have this cholesterol-free oil to put in the chocolate and to melt the chocolate faster in your mouth to have this incredible experience. But because is a cause of climate. Okay, if we move in French, they invented the ganache. The ganache is a cream, okay, with chocolate, and you cook it together, and you have this smooth chocolate that is the ganache born in Paris. Or if you move to Belgium and Holland, you have the double cream or butter mixed in a sort of double ganache. If you move to UK or US, you have the toffee, the fudge, the caramel. So the calories change faster because the climate move to the cold temperature much more than Italy.
So interesting. And, you talk about all these different countries with their chocolates. And you talked a little bit in the beginning about how chocolate actually started in Italy with the Savoy family in Piedmont. I'm wondering if you could go back to that story and tell us a little bit about how, as an American, if I think of chocolate, maybe my first thought is maybe Belgium, and why I should actually think of Italy. Maybe talk a little bit more about the start of chocolate in the Piedmont region, and then specifically in Torino, I think, in Turin.
So I think because these Piemontese guys are really hard worker. So no marketing. The Piedmont was not so touristic like Belgium. Belgium has 10 million people with tourism, and so I think has stronger marketing. The most important port, in which of the colonial goods comes in Amsterdam, and also they move from Belgium everywhere. So I think from Piedmont is much more aristocratic, the chocolate, because at the beginning of the history, the chocolate was only for the clergy and aristocrats. It's Turin that helped chocolate to become democratic. Okay? And so they produce tons of chocolate, and they have the license to bring this chocolate everywhere at the end of 19th century, because in 1820 we have the first chocolate factory. In 1878 we have Venchi, and so we have many. But the milk was created in 1872. And the Gianduja was created in 1860. So there's no milk in this recipe. And so we need to tell the story. The Italian, they make chocolate for Italian market and not really to export. I think Belgium was very clever guys. They opened a lot of boutiques worldwide, and so they discover with a stronger marketing much better with their boutique, their chocolate. And we develop boutique only in this latest year, because we start like a whole Italian chocolate factory just to produce chocolate for a sort of wholesale market, so thousands of family and small retailer, because we don't serve the mass market, okay? And so also we can also stay focused in a premium selection of raw material that is our identity card, as our passport for the quality that we want to offer. And it's really important to promote this style. So our point of difference comes from the ingredient, and we always invite in the shop people to read the ingredient, because the first ingredient worldwide usually is the sugar. The second is the palm oil, okay? So it's important when you find as a first ingredient Piemontese hazelnuts, or cocoa from Venezuela, or cocoa powder, that you are buying chocolate, real chocolate, okay? And so now probably we discover the marketing in the latest 20 years, and now we move in our storytelling that we don't want really to have a storytelling about history, but now we have a story doing. We want a story doing. So invite people in our boutique worldwide to discover, to taste, not to eat chocolate. You don't eat chocolate, you taste chocolate, okay? And you discover all these amazing ingredients we use for our specialties.
Well, thank goodness for the world, because Venchi chocolate is so good. So I'm so glad that the marketing picked up and it expanded.
Okay.
So you talked a little bit about ingredients, and you talked a little bit about Gianduja. Can you give us a little bit about what is it about hazelnuts in this region specifically that are so important? And what is Gianduja? Because I think Americans see that on writing. You see it in gelato a lot. What is a Gianduja, and why does it exist, and how is it different? eventually we'll ask you about Nutella or,
Okay.
hazelnut cream, chocolate hazelnut cream,
Yes.
if you will.
So it's a really important product. Yes, Nutella is a childish memory, is a concept, but we create a spread that is this one. We won a prize as the best chocolate spread last year, hazelnut chocolate spread, because we are really rich in Piemontese hazelnuts. You can see is a 35% of hazelnuts. Okay, and so this is like maybe your peanut butter, that a pure butter, amazing. This one is a sort of our peanut butter, but it is an hazelnuts and cocoa butter spread. But Piedmont is famous for the hazelnuts because we have a really most important harvest close to us and in the hills of Lange. That is the region in which these hazelnuts come. We select the sites of the hazelnuts. We control all the harvest. We have more than 600 suppliers that help us. Also because in our vision, we want to work as possible with ingredient at 0 kilometer, to respect nature, to respect planet. And so our main ingredient, I know we are hazelnut centric, okay? If you put less Gianduja and you rebalance the ingredient, you have the Giandujotto, okay? And the Giandujotto, that is this one, is the shape, okay? Is this one. It's exactly the history of Gianduja, in which the chocolatiers in 1860, they are looking for some simple ingredient on the ground. So the sugar, okay, the cocoa, and the hazelnuts. So 35% of hazelnuts that is so rich in hazelnut paste and fiber, cholesterol free. Then we take out the vanilla, the soya lecithin from this product. And then we use a special raw sugar, comes from Central America with a hint of vanilla. And so we take out the vanilla. And last but not the least, we use an incredible selection of cocoa beans come from Venezuela. That is an origin really famous for the hint of milk and cream. And so we take out the milk. So it's a vegan Gianduja, exactly as the history wants.
I'm looking at it saying I would like to eat it. Like, can I eat it? So
You talk. I'll eat.
For those listening and not watching, so GB just pulled out a chocolate that's called Giandujotto, and it's like a solidified version of Gianduja. And for those, as you explained before, Gianduja, it's similar to Nutella, but I think usually much higher in quality ingredients, often much more chocolate and hazelnut than sugar and palm oil. When I've looked at a picture of Nutella online and the ingredients were broken down, it was a little scary how it was pretty much just all oil, a lot of sugar, a lot of oil, and a little line of chocolate and a little line of hazelnuts. So when I discovered Gianduja, which has the same flavor, just much higher quality, if you will, I became obsessed. And I was introduced to it in America. And for Americans listening who would like to try it, and they can't travel to Italy right now, it's in Italy. There are some Gianduja brands in Italy, in the store, Italy, in the US. But of course, Venchi's Gianduja is amazing, the hazelnut cream.
So GB, we talked a little bit about where some of these products are available, and you talked about exporting this Italian flavor abroad. Talk to us about where you're available in the US right now, kind of what your vision is of better marketing for Italian chocolate, and where can our American listeners find it in the US?
Yes, we love US. We really love US, but we move step by step because we want to explain our product. We have now a great team in Manhattan that develop all the US market. We start with our website. is venchi.com, US. And for us, it's really important because we have a lot of collaboration also with Amazon Prime. So we can also, if you send the order in the morning, we ship in Manhattan and delivery in the afternoon. So very fast service. But with our website, we can join all US people everywhere. And then we move with some boutiques, because in boutiques we have our incredible Italian experience, because if chocolate is a global concept, means we produce every chocolate recipe here, which we are in Castelletto, in Cuneo, okay? We have a gelato. Gelato is a declaration of love versus chocolate that become during the summer a fresh recipe of gelato made locally in all our shop worldwide. And so we start with Union Square, then Columbus Circle, then Lexington, and then many other locations that you can find on our website. Then we move now in Tyson Corner in Virginia, in Pennsylvania, in King of Prussia, and we open during the Christmas Boca Raton and Ventura in Miami, and then San Jose. And so we want to expand, but step by step, because we have really a lot of young guys, and I want to spend many times to train them, because we want also not to sell chocolate, but offer a smile, offer an Italian hospitality in our shop.
That sounds very Italian, to really want to offer a smile. I mean, the first time we met was, I think it was a Tuesday or a Wednesday. It was midweek, and it was maybe 2:30, 3 o'clock in the afternoon. And we met at a Venchi shop in Milan, and it was packed. It was packed with people who are coming in for chocolate or gelato. Oh, and I failed to mention, it was raining. It was pouring rain.
It's true.
And I said to you, oh, wow, the shop is so busy. And you didn't seem to notice, meaning it seemed so normal to you that people were just coming all the time to get chocolate or gelato. Yes. It's so normal to be able to just have a gelato, have a chocolate, have something sweet. Come in by yourself or come in with a friend. I really like this about the Italian culture. And I also really like that I was able to bring my mom to your Venchi shop in New York City. And we had I have a wonderful memory of her and I going and getting and saying, Mom, this is Italian gelato, obviously in New York, but being able to say to her, there's a little piece of Italy in New York that you could have some Italian gelato if you want. And we have great memories at the Venchi shop in New York City, one of them.
Great. I'm so happy about this.
You're also well known for how beautiful your package design is and how carefully thought out each piece of wrapping and the way that the experience of opening that chocolate is. But you also obviously are present now in a lot of the world. Talk to us a little bit about how you mix that and what is the process like? Do you have teams that you collaborate with in other countries? How does that work to kind of keep true to Venchi and bring a little bit something of the local market that you're in beyond the ingredients that you mentioned?
We pay attention on the marketing, on the packaging, because it's really important. In Italy, we need to protect. We are used to protect our pralines, and so we don't use colorings. We don't attract people from the counter with to put colorings on our chocolate praline, because it's a naked chocolate, and if you don't put colorings on the chocolate, the praline in the counter are still milk. So beige color, white color, and dark color, okay? But we are used to package all single chocolate in color paper, but to keep and protect the quality of this chocolate. Okay, it's a really important, the packaging, because the packaging for us is also an address for people to better know the feeling. This is a bloody orange from Sicily. And so when you crunch, you have a 3 different layers of dark chocolate. You crunch, you have this smoothie marmalade of bloody orange in the middle, very juicy. It's also perfect if you combine with a spritz to have a sort of a chocolate aperitif. So it's really funny. And so we have also the cremini. It's a 3 different layers of Gianduja. And so it's a smoothie cream of Sicilian almonds and Piemontese hazelnuts, and become an incredible chocolate of our history. And is this chocolate always protected. Then inside have this funny 3 layer. And it's an amazing chocolate.
If you're watching right now, we are actually sitting on, how you say, cremone?
The
cremino.
Cremino.
It's a special collection for our anniversary, 145 years.
I'd like to talk to you about chocolate shops. Now, in Italian, correct me if I'm wrong, it's chocolatier. And so in Italy, there's often specialized stores. There's the panetteria for bread, the macelleria for meat, the chocolateria for chocolate, et cetera, et cetera. Can you talk about how maybe chocolateria that are mainly in the Piedmont region, mainly in the northern part of Italy, and kind of the history of chocolate in that region of Italy and then the rest of Italy? Because I know food to be very regional, right? So is chocolate as important to the rest of Italy than it is in Piemonte?
Yes, but Italy, we have many recipes also in Italy about chocolate. The Piedmont is really famous for all the recipe around the dark chocolate, so the vegan concept, and the hazelnuts, and so the spread, the Gianduja, the cremini. But there's also other region famous for the baci, for a lot of other famous specialties known worldwide. Okay, the concept of the chocolate and the boutique for us is different. We are not a chocolateria, we are not a gelateria, okay, but we are a new brand, a new concept that is Choco Gelateria. Choco Gelateria means that we are falling in love in chocolate in all its texture, temperature, and consistency, okay? And so we love chocolate in hard version like a chocolate bar. We love the melty chocolate in Gianduja and spread, but we love also the hot chocolate drinkable like an Italian hot chocolate. But of course, during the summer, we love the gelato chocolate. And so this is the idea, how can I create a special gelato, a fresh gelato recipe to bring to our consumer worldwide? And so if I make a gelato with a fresh New York milk, people can have a special link between our Italian craftsmanship, okay? You say craftsmanship?
Yeah,
that's right. Okay. And our Italian experience and the local ingredient. And so we have some customized recipe worldwide in which we can create some incredible recipe with toffee for our gelato US gelato shop on salted caramel, or this incredible exotic fruit of durian for our shops in Singapore, in China, in Hong Kong. That is this incredible smelly fruit.
I know, it's a smelly fruit. I've had it.
But also for an incredible brand, Italian brand that is Valentino Fashion, we create for all the mainland China this special pink sorbet made with dragon fruit that is natural pink, so without colorings. And so we love also for our gelato concept to have something really fresh, really genuine, and without all the chemical ingredients that are used to put in the gelato to grow in volume or to stop because there are some a lot of trick, but please come in our shop, ask for the ingredient, read the ingredient, and we want really to offer you an incredible experience.
You talked a little bit about how gelato can grow, and I think that's a good transition into asking you how tourists can know whether a gelato is quality or not. Now, obviously, if they're going to a Venchi shop, they know they're getting quality, but in other areas where maybe Venchi's not available and they're going into a gelato shop, a gelateria, and they want to make sure it's quality, what are some signs to be aware of or to see if it's quality? For example, one that I've heard is to avoid the gelato that's very tall outside of the tins, or to avoid the very bright colored pistachio that looks like it's neon green. Are these accurate? What are some tips that you can give to people who, when Venchi's not available, for good gelato?
The tips is a red ingredient. Absolutely red ingredient. I can explain not to have a bad word for all the other that have a skyscraper of gelato or super coloring gelato, because it's also funny maybe for the child, but in our idea, we buy some ingredient and we need to get a sort of natural fiber from the ingredient that is contained in the fruit. Just to give an idea, the pistachio from Bronte, that is a volcano, an incredible volcano in Italy, and we have the only pistachio comes from an active volcano. The skin of this pistachio is violet and beige. So if I peel the pistachio in the fruit is green, but I need the peel comes from the pistachio, because 30% of flavor come also from the peel, from the skin. Okay, so it's important to have the perfect taste with just the natural salty taste comes from this natural ingredient, so a gelato with no added salt in the product, but the color become beige, is not really green. Okay, and so also for the gelato, if you come in our shop, our gelato is still plain under the cold line, you say, okay, the cold line of counter, because we don't have a chemical structure to boost the gelato like a skyscraper. I know that the first senses of our body is the eyes, and you get the product with the eyes first and then with the mouth. But we prefer that you come back for a perfect taste than to offer you just eyes experience.
Quality.
Absolutely.
You've been described as the creative soul of the brand, the one who creates the chocolate recipes, and my personal favorite, Mr. Venchi. And so I'd like you to just chat a little bit about what you do here at Venchi. What's your role?
My role now is to bring the perfect Italian experience in our shop. We manage directly all the shop worldwide to explain exactly the Italianness, the concept of our chocolate. And so now, in the latest years, as I said I was born in chocolate and swim in chocolate. And so I really work with my grandpa also on the concept of pairing to match different worldwide ingredient and to find exactly like an Italian chef the balance between some ingredient worldwide, especially for our gelato, and to match exactly the balance to have this kind of Italian concept of recipe. When you travel, you can find a lot of different fruit, a lot of different habits. If you move on the right side of the world from Italy, all people love dark, extra dark chocolate with low sugar, with some special fruit. If I move on the right side, all people love white and milk and Gianduja, and so very rich and indulgent chocolate. So just to become a creative soul I need to travel a lot, to taste a lot, okay? That is my real job. I travel to taste. It's an R&D concept, my body. And so it's important in respect to our consumer worldwide, just to create a special recipe, special experience, to link them through the taste of our chocolate, thinking to Italy.
What is your favorite percentage of chocolate? How dark or light? You said when you were 15 you didn't like bitter chocolate. How do you feel about it now? And what's your favorite chocolate, and what's your favorite ingredient to add to chocolate?
Guys, I'm the father of all my chocolates, so I love everyone, okay? First of all, okay? I'm a seasonal preference, of course. Now I can climb until 100% of chocolate, because we have an incredible work in our ESG program, also to control the fermentation, also to control the roasting of the beans, because with an important scientist in Italy, we are looking for the functionality. This is really comfort food, the chocolate. And we don't put flour or other type of starch with gluten in our chocolate. We are totally gluten-free in our range. And this is really important for the genuine and rare taste of this ingredient. So with for September, we launch with this new range of chocolate bar in which is not only important the percentage. In our chocolate, we start from 60% minimum cocoa. And I assure you, it's not easy, because I want to participate to a contest in US, but the minimum quantity of chocolate more than 56%. That, come on, I start with 60.
Why? Why is that? Why?
Because they want some chocolate with other solids, but not really cocoa. So something strange. But in any case, we want to bring people in the dimension to taste the dark chocolate, to appreciate the dark chocolate. Dark chocolate is not a bitter, stronger experience. We create 9 different objectives to help you in the new range to have something of voluptuous, seductive, or smoothie, or vibrant, or crunchy. And so just to play with our senses, with our trigeminal, to detect a new experience for our brain, because our brain need to discover new recipe. So something that start crunchy, then become velvety, then become with the whole hazelnuts roasting in the middle, vibrant and crunchy another time. And so this kind of wow effect when you eat a chocolate. And so we do the same thing. We can offer the same thing with the gelato, put the nibs in the gelato, our special Azteco flavor that is a sorbet, so water-based gelato with a different type of fruit, but also to offer the special pairing with the gelato flavor. So which is the best gelato you can suggest me to taste? The strawberry is perfect with hazelnuts because the primary note match perfectly together. And so try strawberry and hazelnut just to give you an idea. Or mango and gelato sorbet to have a sort of vegan gelato to taste.
And you're talking about 2 different flavors, but maybe in the same cup or on a cone, correct?
Exactly, correct.
Because, this is something I've noticed as an American, that Italian gelato, especially quality, usually is one flavor. It's the strawberry flavor. It's a hazelnut flavor. Sometimes it's 2 flavors combined, or a flavor with a chocolate chip in it, but no more than maybe 2 things. Whereas in America, you'll find ice cream that we have, but it's
Rocky Road.
Yeah, Rocky Road. It's
right.
Cookie dough, chocolate, peanut butter, pretzel, crumble, marshmallow. And that's a cultural difference right there. Yeah. I'm guessing that's because the importance is in the quality of the ingredients. Would you say so?
Yes, the quality of the ingredient. You can have different single flavor, but it's important to have the pairing. We have also the combo in our gelato, like the cremino, in which we make an incredible hazelnuts gelato, and then we put a floating of chocolate spread together and become a double taste, also in temperature, of cremino gelato, in which you can find the freshness come from the gelato hazelnuts and the velvety comes from the chocolate spread.
So hungry right now.
I do think this is a trend, though, not a trend, but just kind of a cultural truth in Italy, is that if you think about pizza in Italy, it has 4 ingredients. Maybe if you think about most pasta sauces have just a few ingredients. There's a kind of different focus on simplicity, or maybe it's not simplicity, but clarity of flavors. There's this desire for, if you have a pesto, it really tastes like basil and pine nuts and very little else that you get from it. And so I think gelato is kind of the same way. You have these really powerful, deep flavors, but they tend to be very simple, very direct in what you're getting. When you eat a hazelnut gelato, it tastes like a hazelnut,
Absolutely, yes. And it's important, the percentage of the ingredient, because you can find a lot of product described with hazelnuts or almond, and then you check the contain, it's only 1%. Come on. Which is the flavor, is the artificial aromas or the flavorings in the ingredient. No, you need to invest and to have minimum 20, 25, 35 of the main ingredient. Okay, then you can have some special recipe. Our cremino, that for me is a tribute to US market. I find the perfect caramel. I put in a layer with Sicilian almonds, and so I have a double taste of caramel and Sicilian almond, and a perfect balance in your mouth. So you can find exactly the balance is exactly the right term, because less is more. What you need: caramel and Sicilian almonds, and then chocolate. So a sort of free ingredient, exactly like spaghetti you mentioned, with tomato, pomodoro, and basilico. Okay,
Perfect. Maybe some olive oil.
Perfect, and some olive oil, sure. Okay, and the gelato is the same way. And so I always invite you, please read the ingredient. It's important.
GB, this has been such an incredible conversation. I've learned so much. Thank you for all that you shared with us today. And I wanted to ask you if you had any final thoughts for the interview, any last thing you wanted to share.
But what can I say? I always say we don't see things as they are, but we see things as we are. So please come in our shop, connect it to us, and explore our factory, explore our experience, and discover that is not only word, which is the real ingredient, and we use to bring you our Italianness. So, grazie mille per tutto.
Grazie a te.
Grazie a te.
Perfetto.
Okay. This is Italian for sure.
Thanks for listening to this episode of Italian for Sure. If you liked what you heard, make sure to hit the follow button wherever you listen to podcasts, and hit the subscribe button on YouTube. If you want to connect, find me on Instagram and TikTok at Italian for Sure, and let me know what you found most interesting. Until next time.